Hey, it's Andrew, and this is the second video. It's on photosynthesis. So let's go over the chemical equation. So it goes like this. 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water plus light energy from the sun gets you glucose, 6 oxygen, and 6 oxygen. That's what it creates. So photosynthesis, what's the main idea? Light energy from the sun is converted into chemical energy that is stored in sugar. Who carries out photosynthesis? Plants do. More specifically, autotrophs, which are self-feeders. Autotrophs carry out photosynthesis. And the next part we can talk about is where is photosynthesis done? The organelle that accomplishes photosynthesis is the chloroplast. The chloroplast is once again a double membrane organelle. It is a brief description of chloroplast would be thylakoids that are stacked up in grana, which are called grana. Stacks of thylakoid are called grana, surrounded by stroma. So thylakoids, that is where we start our journey for photosynthesis. Photosynthesis can be broken down into 2 parts: the light reactions and the dark reactions. Dark reactions are sometimes called the Calvin cycle. So let's start with light reactions, because that's what comes first. That is happens in the thylakoid membranes, and it consists of photosystem 2, then photosystem 1. It's weird, but photosystem 2 comes before photosystem 1. That's just how it happens. So, what happens in photosystem 2? Water is broken down, first of all, through light energy, and that's called photolysis. Water is broken down and split into oxygen and hydrogen. Oxygen is released, and that's where we get the oxygen from the reaction, and hydrogen is used later on. So electrons from water are also ripped and pulled into chlorophyll. So what happens at chlorophyll? Chlorophyll is a pigment. Chlorophyll A is the main pigment of photosynthesis. There's chlorophyll B, which is green-blue. There's xanthophylls, which are yellow. Carotenoids, which are orange. All these are accessory pigments. Pigments take in the energy from the sun, and they excite electrons. Those accessory pigments actually pass their energy on to chlorophyll A, which is the main pigment. So chlorophyll A, it gets absorbs energy from the sun, sunlight, excites its electrons, and it boosts it up to a higher energy level, which get accepted into the primary, the electrons actually get accepted by the primary acceptor of photosystem 2. From there, the photosystem, the primary acceptor, right? It takes the electrons. It takes the electrons and it goes down the first goes down the first electron transfer chain. Here ATP is produced just the same way ATP is produced in cellular respiration through chemiosmosis, building up of hydrogen ion gradient, goes through ATP synthase, produces ATP. So once you have your first electron going down the photosystem 2 electron transfer chain, it gets boosted back up by photosystem 1 up into a higher energy state, and then goes down into goes down the second electron transfer chain where it creates ATP again. It is lastly picked up by NADP plus to create NADPH. So what have we learned? We have got at the end product of light reaction, we have NADPH and ATP, which is later used for dark reactions. We have also 2 kinds of flow: linear flow and cyclic flow. Linear flow uses both photosystems, produces oxygen and NADPH and ATP. Cyclic flow differs from linear flow because it does not use photosystem 2, only uses photosystem 1, and you don't get any oxygen being released, and the electron keeps cycling through photosystem 1, and you only get ATP. That's for when the Calvin cycle is running low. You need more ATP to be produced. All right, next part, Calvin cycle. That is where carbon dioxide is taken in. There are 3 stages of Calvin cycle: fixation, reduction, and regeneration. Fixation, what happens is you take in carbon dioxide, you fix it using rubisco, an enzyme, to RUBP, and then you reduce it using the products of the light reactions, NADPH, ATP. You reduce it, you get products. The end product of Calvin cycle is G3P, which can be converted into starch or other uses for the plant. And then lastly, for the cycle, you regenerate the RUBP. And so, Calvin cycle, it happens in the stroma, outside the thylakoids, right? So what happens? Problems of photosynthesis. Photorespiration is a problem. that's when rubisco binds oxygen to RUBP instead of carbon dioxide. So that's a problem because it's ineffective. You don't want that. You waste energy, right? So what can we do to solve this problem? C4 plants actually, in order to maintain a high level of carbon dioxide while still preserving water, what they do, C4 plants, is that they take in carbon dioxide and they store it as a 4-carbon molecule. They store it in their bundle sheet cells, right? And they maintain a high level of carbon dioxide there where they can properly use rubisco. Lastly, you also have CAM plants, which open up their stomatas at night to reduce water loss. And they store it as a 4-carbon molecule once again, and then they use it at night. They release the carbon, and then they can carry on Calvin cycle as normal. And that's been photosynthesis, and I hope you enjoyed.